Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tales from the Podcast. Guess what, guys? Fucking Chuck Nasty's joining in this episode as well. He said it was one of his favorites, so he had to be part of it.
Not at all what I said.
Well, we will talk about that in a little bit. But before we go ahead and jump into everything, we got to make sure we tell everybody to, go and check out our comic book. We worked really hard on it. You can still buy it. You can go check out the website, talesfromthepodcast.com. Links are on there. If you don't want to get one to read, you can use them as placemats for wedges. I mean, I don't give a fuck what the hell you use it for. Buy a copy. It supports a good cause. Our wallets. So, anyways, we should probably go ahead and jump into this episode, shouldn't we?
We should.
We should. Let's introduce our guest for this episode. He's been around before, and what a day for him to be joining us, huh, Chuck?
Mm-hmm.
Being the anniversary of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, let's go ahead and introduce our buddy, Steve Merlo.
Hey, how you guys doing?
How's it going, man?
Well. How are you?
Been busy as hell, but you know what? I'm doing great.
Well, I am sorry to add to your busyness between,
okay.
Being on the show and watching this episode.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I missed you guys. It's been, When was the last time I was on your guys' show? It was over a year ago, I think.
It's right when I believe the first campaign started, and now you're campaign 4?
I think it was the second campaign. I'm pretty sure.
I think it was.
Are you sure?
I think it was the second one.
So I remember our first campaign did terrible. Well, not terrible. I won't say terrible. It raised like $4,000. And I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was our second campaign. I think you guys had me like twice during that campaign.
It's possible. Yeah.
It was, at least to my recollection. And then
it's very possible.
Campaign.
I mean, you've done a few.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with all of them. It really is. They all kind of gel together. I think the biggest break we actually took was between the first and second, because I felt like I needed to reevaluate after the first campaign what I'm doing, and I did, and I think I did some good correcting. We almost hit our goal the second campaign, and the third and fourth we hit our goals. So I did something awesome. Right, anyways. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it continues to go that way. I mean, I just shared the campaign for everybody to go ahead and check out right now.
So much. We're almost broken even.
Dude, I mean, you got some pretty fucking cool perks on here, to be honest with you. Like, some that, like we were talking beforehand, I mean, I was a little bit surprised, like, don't get me wrong, like the IMBD special thanks. I mean, that one's almost a given. Like, you're going to see that one quite a bit. But, I mean, these the killer keychains as well as the magnets are pretty fucking cool options. I mean,
I think they're cool.
Yeah, for indie films, you don't see them. Well, yeah, for real. But you guys got some pretty cool stuff, though. Some downloads, which is, awesome considering, international shipping sucks. So that's a very big help, I'm sure.
Buy more downloads, less Blu-rays, and well, the Blu-rays and DVDs. Just anybody who got those, and a lot of people got Blu-rays, like 200, something like that.
Oh yeah,
but they're going to be waiting a bit. Manufacturing, I've heard the nightmare stories about manufacturing on Blu-rays, so I am not going to make any guarantees on how long that's going to take. We still have to make the special features on it and everything. So even though we have a completed movie, I don't even have something ready to send to the manufacturers yet. So
Oh yeah.
that's the way she goes. Worth the
I know
wait,
it's not like I know it's not horrible. Like I've done a few things where I had to order a large quantity, and I mean the turnaround on it was only a couple of weeks, and it was it wasn't horrible. I mean it went by
Was it
a
like
lot quicker.
in DVD though? Was it like Blu-ray
Blu-ray.
DVD? Oh, was it really? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the manufacturers. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to talk afterwards and see who you're going through. Maybe
yeah, for sure.
Maybe who I know might be a little bit better.
I'm open to suggestions. I just look for the cheapest one I could find.
Right. I mean that's basically what I did too. But I mean this one turned out to be pretty good for me. We'll talk after the show about that.
We'll talk. Yeah, I'm interested.
Unfortunately though, they don't do VHSs, and I think that's one of the coolest things that you actually have on your Indiegogo.
Yeah, different manufacturer for that.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty.
I don't even want to ask you because I feel like you're probably not making a lot of profit on those.
Not a lot, but I'm not really doing much myself for them. I just send the movie to the guy, send him with the box design, and he told me how much each one costs. But so there's a little bit of profit, not a lot, but I think it's something like
it's a cool thing,
$5 to $10 of profit somewhere in there.
Right. I want a VHS of this movie.
Compared to DVDs, where I know like I know the profit margin on DVDs and Blu-rays is significantly higher. That's for sure.
I mean, but there's a lot there. But I mean, like myself, there's a lot of people that especially in horror, that collect VHSs.
Well, that's one of the things that's pretty cool is like I could tell that he's not making a huge profit because I mean you can get the VHS for $25. A Canadian it's a little bit different, which I know you're in Canada, but in the US it is ringing up as $25, which is super fucking reasonable for a VHS copy, especially for a lot of us VHS people.
I just hope the guy doesn't raise a price. I'm just going off his quotes. He quote me again. He was a guy I met on Instagram actually.
Right, he's watching this video right now, being like, I think I could get at least 35 now.
You better not raise the price on me now. But,
people are gonna go check the Indiegogo after this episode and be like, Justin lied. These are not $25.
No,
but I mean,
if I was gonna raise it, I would have raised it by now.
That's fair. So you're also doing personalized thank you videos, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Now I sold one of those. Only one.
Yeah. Really?
That's okay.
Now, are you the one that's personalizing them, or?
Excuse me, guys. Actually, no. We're letting the backer choose if they want me or a cast member to do it.
Really interesting.
It's not exactly hard for anybody to take a video with their phone and send it to him.
It's still a pretty cool option.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to have.
Ooh, that's you got some pretty cool posters that are going out here too. You got
I got some of them here.
As a person who loves merch, like band stuff, whatever, like I like to have options. So I think the more options, the better. Like
me too.
Like completely. Like seriously, I was on a website last night, just sitting there looking at this one band's page, and I was like wishing there was more merch on there, and I don't know. It's always good to have more merch, more choices. So A, B, C, and D. That's how I passed my tests.
You have photos signed in blood.
That's cool.
Yeah, we actually, because we had signed photos before. I think on the first two campaigns, I think.
Right.
And we ran out, so I didn't have them again for a while. But then I got a guy from in Texas actually when we were at the premiere. I'm like, can you print out a bunch of the cast photos and we'll have them sign it while we're there? Because I missed any other opportunity to have more while we were filming.
Right.
Because that's when I originally had them done. So I barely had enough for that. And then he printed out a little bit more of each cast member that was at the premiere. Not everybody could make it to the premiere, unfortunately.
Right.
But a lot of them, like Leatherface was there, and our lead actor Jordan O'Neill was there. So I mean, we had all these people sign their photos, and so we got a few more that I can sell. We sold one batch already, so we got two more.
Nice.
To sale.
Now, Is it really signed in real blood?
No.
Be a lot
Oh,
cooler if it
name, man.
was.
Well,
Come
I
up
mean,
with
if you want
cool
to
names for
talk
these-
after the show, I do know a supplier where you can get blood in the ink. So,
Well, I ain't flying back to Texas to get everybody to sign these sign new photos.
that's fair. I actually had some requests for signed comic books in blood, so I ended up
really?
having to and I actually purchased it and bought a fountain pen to fill it and do the signatures. So
Oh God.
Did you really sign? You really sign it in your blood?
it wasn't my blood.
Was it real blood though?
Yes.
Huh?
I didn't even know you could do that.
I didn't know
Oh,
you did
yeah.
that.
Well,
Okay.
It's probably like, excuse me, it's probably like pig's blood or something.
bats.
Oh, bat. Okay, I figured it was probably an animal of some kind.
yeah, it was
Like
bat.
human blood, really? The people
No.
It'd be a lot
Is that what
cooler if it
people
was
are
a
donating
pig.
blood for? I hope not.
Don't get me wrong, though. I mean, like, I'm sure I could put human blood in there.
It could.
I don't know. I think the way they did it with the bat's blood's a little bit watered down, so it runs a little bit smoother through the pen. Like human blood, I'm pretty sure coagulates a little bit thicker
Yeah.
than
I
what
can
I have.
imagine, yeah.
But anyways, back to some of these perks. You got the butchered in the basement perk, which there's 2 of those left. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that one?
Excuse me. That one is the opportunity. And actually, if we don't sell it, we're going to take it down pretty quick, I think, probably, because that's the opportunity to see the movie before it actually premieres, which it's premiering in just 3 weeks now on YouTube. So under 3 weeks. Friday the 21st is when it actually premieres.
Nice.
So 3 weeks from yesterday. But it's the opportunity to go actually to the basement that we filmed all the murder scenes, all the gory stuff, basically the goriest stuff from the movie. And watch the movie in that basement where all that mayhem takes place in Texas.
Very cool.
So
That's
I think that
very
one's
cool.
been kind of tough to sell though, because I think maybe not a lot of our backers live in Texas and they don't want to drive all the way to Texas just to watch a movie. I don't know. I'm guessing
Yeah,
that's why.
probably. I mean,
But
you know,
With gas prices and stuff, I'd say that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
At one time, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal, I'd say.
Right. And then past that, you also have, you know, your producer credits, executive associate, but you got a latex replica mask. here.
latex and
And you
silicone.
have
Silicone is
silicone.
actually very much more expensive, but
Yeah. Do
I
you
got
happen
both
to
of
have
these
any
things.
of those that you could show us? I mean, that
I-
sounds pretty interesting.
I don't have any of the replicas. I have the real ones up in my attic.
Ah,
I don't want to show them to you though, because we're keeping the Leatherface mask kind of a secret until the movie is unveiled to everybody. Because I don't know. We want some mystique. You know, we've been very careful to keep Leatherface's look kind of hidden in the trailers, other than very subtle glimpses here and there. So I mean, we're after the movie's release, you know, you'll get this,
Right.
you'll see it obviously on screen. But I have
fair.
all 4 screen used masks up in my attic, and I have to wait to ship them out simply because, and maybe I shouldn't have done this, but the first person who bought one of those masks, and they're pricey, they are expensive. They were expensive to make, they're expensive to sell. I gave him the option of choosing the one he likes the most. Now I reached out to him once I came back from Texas with these masks. Hey man, do you want to see what these masks and pick it out now, or do you want to wait until you've seen the film? And he was very adamant that he wanted to wait to see the film first. So, you know,
Well, I
before he
mean,
chose
That's
a
pretty
mask.
cool.
that is fair. I mean, I do need to
Keep
throw
that
this
on.
out here. Our buddy John, do you remember John?
Hey.
Chuck? He's like, man, this host JB is trash. Funny coming from John there, considering that literally as soon as we get done with this, he and I are doing a recording for his show.
Oh,
So-
nice.
That's great, eh?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Right. So, I mean, anybody who is a Tales from the Crypt fan, check out Crypt. I mean, obviously, if you're a Tales fan, you've probably already noticed this guy. I know he's working on doing a lot of stuff right now, but he's done some of the best 4K restorations of Tales from the Crypt episodes that you'll ever see in your life. I mean, this
Cool.
motherfucker's
The
amazing.
link you sent me for this one was not 4K.
They're I'll have to tell you what happened. That's an off-air situation,
Okay.
but yes. And we miss you too, man. we definitely miss you. Now going back into this a little bit. Actually, everything else is gone. I mean, you've sold out of everything else. That was
We've
it.
pretty much sold out of everything else. Yeah, we've sold a lot.
Yeah, I mean
there's
that's
a few
pretty
things
good
still
though.
available. So I'm pretty happy overall. If we didn't sell another perk, I'll be happy.
Right.
Sup, man? John, right? Sup,
Yeah.
John?
Oh, John's awesome. You have to check out his stuff that he does. Actually, just because it's there, check him out too. He has his Crypt Incorporated new Patreon channel, and he's doing quite a bit with that too. So, if you're into that kind of stuff, it's definitely something to check out. I think he's only doing like $5, so
cool.
Definitely worth it. Especially if you're a Tales fan, it's definitely one of those things.
If you're a Tales fan,
yeah. But anyways. I made you watch this episode, Steve.
Yeah, I remember seeing this one back in the 90s.
Ooh, well, we're about to talk about it even more now. So, the episode that we are going to be talking about today is called The Pit. It is based off the comic book Vault of Horror, issue number 40, and the original air date for this episode was November 30th of 1994. I was 6. So
I was 14.
Wow.
I'm dating myself a little bit, but yes, I was 14.
When did this come? You said 94?
94.
I was born in 84. I'm horrible with math. How old was I?
10. That should be easy. You're born in 84, came out in 94, 10.
Numbers confuse me.
No kidding. I thought my 5-year-old daughter was bad at math. Now I don't feel so bad for her.
Oh, my son he's a genius in math. He teaches me stuff. I'm horrible at it. Horrible at it.
Oh, good. We have our strengths, right?
Yeah.
Well, most of us do, except for Chuck. No, I'm joking.
Oh no, man, Chuck's strength. He's got a great strength. His awesome voice.
I love his awesome voice.
Thank you.
I love his voice. I could listen to your voice all night long, Chuck.
You gotta check out his drumming then. That's
that
for sure.
Deep voice. I always you gotta
check out some of the.
It's very rare when there's an episode where I'm getting this much praise.
Right. Well, I mean, that he did a bunch of commentary for porn, and that's where he ended up getting that voice. And I mean, it's surprising, but it turned out really
can't
good.
Just let me have it, could you?
I'm just giving you more praise. Not everybody gets to do porn commentary. Most people don't even know that porn has a commentary.
Oh my goodness!
I just opened up a whole market for you to take over, Chuck.
Ridiculous.
Whatever. Yeah. So we got Mark Dacascos in this episode. He did some of the John Wick stuff, but let's just go ahead and throw it out there and be honest. The best role this guy's ever done. Now, you know who Mark Dacascos is in this episode, don't you, Chuck? Because we did a movie that he was in before. One of our favorites.
Which guy is it?
He played Jimmy Lee on Double Dragon.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was also in that really bad Crow shit.
Yeah,
he was pretty bad. I don't like him. Yeah.
Well, that's fair, but I mean, we did love Double Dragon though.
It was
fun. You're talking about the TV series where he played Eric Draven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was it Stairway to Heaven, right?
Oh God, yeah.
He says Mark Dacascos. He was Kung Lao in the Mortal Kombat YouTube series. Yes, he did that as well.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah. Now moving on from there, we also have Debbie Dunning, and she played Aubrey Scott in this episode. Probably best known for I know her. She was Heidi on Home Improvement.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people also don't know this, but she was also in one of my favorite horror movies, Leprechaun 4 in Space. Which is
was she in that?
Yeah, she was in that movie, dude.
Wow. That movie's so bad.
It's not. It's
funny, but it's
so bad it's good.
Right.
I love that one
Yeah.
so fucking much, dude. I can't help
Oh
it.
man, and that doesn't surprise me. It's okay.
Oh, whatever. Now we also got Margene Holden in this as Andrea Johnson. Um, she was in The Lost World, Jurassic Park. She was in the second Mortal Kombat movie. She was Shiva, which I know that John was probably trying to type that up right now. And he's a huge Mortal Kombat fan, so he loves his fighting games to say the least.
You know, I can't tell you anything about Mortal Kombat 2 except that everybody dies in the first like 10 minutes of the movie.
It was such a bad movie.
It wasn't good. That's why I remember shit from it.
Such a bad movie.
So bad. Oh, and I'm pretty sure who's the black dude in this episode? What's his name?
In the episode, what's his name or what's his real name?
And in the what's his real name?
Stony Jackson.
Is goddamn what there's a couple other movies I'm seeing his face in because he was in all over the place for a minute in like the early 90s.
Angels in the Outfield?
No. Was he in Boys in the Hood?
He was in Angels in the Outfield though.
Okay, you know how long it's been since I've seen that movie? Was he in Boys in the Hood?
I don't know. I'm going through his IMDb right now.
Because I'm thinking either Boys in the Hood or Kid and Play House Party.
He was on Santa Barbara, Dragnet 227, Blind Vision by the Sword. He did an episode of Family Matters, which might have been the coolest thing he did.
That might be where I know him from too. But I know
one episode of Family Matters.
Yeah, no, really, it's true. Because I actually, yeah.
So he didn't play Waldo Faldo.
Let's see here. I mean, he did a bunch of one-offs on TV shows. Not a lot of really big movies, to be honest with you.
Because I swear, I think unless I'm thinking of, especially once I've seen those movies, I'm just thinking that he looks like one of like the assholes in one of those movies, like one of the because I thought he was one of the gang members in Boys in the Hood, but I could be wrong.
No.
I mean,
no.
You know, whatever.
I mean, yeah, he was in the Return of Mod Squad.
Ooh.
Like nothing. Not really in a ton of stuff though.
If he wasn't in a gangster movie from like the fucking early 90s, I don't really and Family Matters, then I have no clue what else I've known him from.
Right, John says Annihilation is not a highlight, and David's chiming in about Stony Jackson. He was in a B superhero movie, Black Scorpion, Aftershock, where he played the gangster prankster. Yes, that was like one of those with those Black Scorpion ones they were like on the edge of superhero, but kind of like still throwing in a little bit of like a very, very ultra soft core type thing.
Oh, gotcha.
Some of the raunchiness there. And yes, he was.
I mean, his name is Stony Jackson.
Yeah.
Maybe that's where I know him from. See, I've seen his face so many fucking places. Though.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
We also got Wayne Newton in this episode.
Yeah, we do.
I'm trying to think of like what was he best? He's probably best known for being Wayne Newton.
Yeah.
Wayne Newton. Yeah.
I mean, he was in License to Kill, Vegas Vacation, which is probably one of the biggest movies he ever did. Sharknado 4.
Really?
Oh.
He'll be appearing in Las Vegas with a shark.
Smoking Aces. Now, he was in one of the greatest TV shows.
What was that?
Which one? Which Red
Hercules.
Dwarf?
He did an episode of Hercules.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yes, he loves that shit. I don't know.
What, Hercules? What the hell's wrong with Hercules?
I don't know. I think you got a chemical imbalance or something in your brain. I don't.
Oh, wow. Gosh,
I don't know. Hercules. Jesus Christ.
Oh my God! Shut up! It's not that bad. So this
episode, Hercules. Go on.
All right. So in this episode, we basically have two fighters, and not only are they fighters, but their women also seem to really be hating each other and have had a history. Now, throughout this right here, we end up seeing, that they had a match before that came to a draw, and they're trying to hype up another fight. Not them originally, ends up being their wives, or they don't really even explain if it's their wife's girlfriends or whatever. But either way, they're women in their lives, and clearly hate each other a lot more than the men do.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get this fight going to get a movie deal and all these other type things. And
he's a really cool guy.
yeah, but by the end of it, we end up realizing that the men have kind of switched the roles on them, and both got the movie rights to go and do the movie together, and end up having their women fight it out in the pit. Which pretty different story for a Tales from the Crypt episode. I will say, going right into the comic book comparison for this one, there is no fucking difference. Well, I'm gonna say that's the wrong way to really say it.
Does the comic book one suck too?
No.
Oh, okay.
There's a big difference between the two, but it's it's one of those things where it's this episode fucking sucked balls compared to what was on paper. And I mean, just all the way around. So, obviously, the comic book was done in the 40s. Like I said, it was Vault of Horror issue number 40. And it was. Let the women fight out while the husbands drink some Coronas. That's fair. I mean, that is fair. Unfortunately, in the comic book, it didn't turn out that way. In the comic book, there really was no issue with these men fighting. They had women that, really didn't like each other, and really wasn't too much fighting between people. There were cockfighting, there was dog fighting, panthers. I mean, basically these people were fighting animals in a pit the entire time. And by the end of it, and instead of, there being a cage fight, the men just let, kind of just get the women in the pit, and they end up fighting with the animals all around them, and they end up fighting to the point where they don't look like humans anymore. And yeah, that's pretty big difference.
Yeah.
I will say that I much rather would have seen the comic book episode come to life the way it is in the comic book.
Yeah.
I could also see that even in the 90s, how having a bunch of animals fighting each other would have probably not been the greatest thing in the world. I know that, especially that time period, mid 90s, I mean, PETA was making quite the big deal about anything and everything that they could.
Yeah.
So, I mean, having full blown, cockfights and shit actually going on TV probably would have been a little bit rough.
Yeah.
No kidding.
To say the least.
I mean, it could have been worse. Personally, I mean, I don't care. I mean, I care about the animals, blah, that kind of shit. But I mean, seeing it on TV is a whole different thing. Just knowing what's real and what's not real. And I still think it would have made for a much better episode, though. Anyways, though, let's obviously go around and talk a little bit about what we thought about it and kind of give it our own ratings. Chuck, why don't you lead us off?
Yeah, so it sucked.
Just plain and simple, it sucked.
You can definitely tell when they're getting to the end of Tales from the Crypt's run, because the episodes start getting a little bit like this one. I remember when I was watching it earlier, as soon as it came on, I was like, oh, it's this episode. Because I remember that's one it's not what I don't know. There's something about it that just really annoyed the shit out of me. The actors all annoy the fuck out of me. Wayne Newton annoys the fuck out of me. The only ups was the girls were hot. And then at the end they beat the shit out of each other because they were assholes. I gotta say that the one scene where they're watching their women or whatever, kicking each other's asses. And the guys are sitting there drinking and they're watching them and he's like, oh, last time that she punched like that, I had 3 stitches in the back or whatever the fuck he said. And I'm like, oh, okay. So
claws out.
yeah, abusive shit. So it's there's some justice there, But not enough for me to really like this episode. Fucking annoying. Just something about it just annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know. It's not like, it's always Crypt Keeper's always cool. So like that's always a good thing.
Right.
But this isn't the kind of Tales from the Crypt episode that when I think of Tales from the Crypt, I think of. You know what I mean? Like it isn't.
No,
It didn't really have. I mean, yeah, okay, it had the irony, I guess, and a little bit of a twist, but it really didn't have any, like, I don't know, like kind of like there was no flavor behind the twist. There was no, I don't know, there was no real darkness there.
No.
It's like, you go back and you watch like some of the episodes of the first couple of seasons. I mean, hell, at least the first 4 seasons, like, you're kind of like, oh, that's kind of fucked up, blah, blah, blah. And this one, you kind of figured you knew it was going to happen from the beginning to the end of this fucking thing. Now, if it would have been a little more, bloodier, maybe, if there was some actual, like, it looked like they were actually beating the shit out of each other, maybe. I don't know. I hate this episode so much. This is in my top 10 most hated episodes of Tales from the Crypt. And I'll tell you, the other 9 are on season 7. So,
All right.
What season is it from?
This is season 6. This is season 6, episode 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I mean, we're getting into the end there. I mean, there's only 15 episodes in this season, and then the last season only has 13.
Oh well, let me go ahead and retract.
What are you guys going to do?
This is in your top 14
every episode.
Yeah,
well,
exactly. It's my top 14 hated, and all of season 7.
I figured. We do have a plan for after. It involves us just turning the show into one thing and just continuing with horror discussions. And obviously, it's not going to change the fact that I'm going to reference a lot of things to Tales from the Crypt.
Hey,
and maybe on occasion go back every once in a while and redo an episode that we really enjoy. Kind of give it like a little bit of fun there. I mean, there are a lot of really good episodes, to be fair.
There are, and I would love to be able to go on and talk about some that I didn't get a chance to at times, or ones I did that I just really love. You know what episodes those are?
Yeah, so. I do. Well, now what rating did you give this one?
I'll give it a 2, and the only reason I'm going to give it like a 2 is because of Crypt Keeper.
Right. All right, 2. All right.
2. Fuck this episode.
David chiming in. Notice there's an interracial marriage. I don't know if this is the first one to show it on cable.
No,
I don't know. I don't think it was though.
No,
wasn't up right now.
Wasn't the Cosby Show on? And what didn't they have like where one of the daughters was with a white dude or something was going on, or Fresh Prince or some shit?
Episode of Star Trek was the first.
Oh yeah.
Kiss.
Duh.
So
I don't even like Star Trek, and I do that shit.
Yeah, you're about 30 years off, David.
Yeah.
No, yeah, definitely. Now, Steve, why don't you go ahead and then lead it off?
Well, I didn't hate it as much as Chuck. I mean, I can see what he's talking about, but in the core, I can see a good story there. It was poorly executed. I think the execution just the acting. I wanted to like the acting more. I think if you had better actors, and I think if some of the actors were better, I would find them, especially the girls. I don't know. I couldn't believe either of those women in this episode. And I think if you had believable hatred, animosity, it makes a huge difference. Well, let's talk about some of the positives. I mean, I again, the story, I kind of find the irony at the end and all. I kind of wish they would have shown more of the end, at the aftermath of their fight. I just, that would have made it a little better for me for sure. But I did like that scene when both women got the phone call about, I don't even know exactly what it's about, but I take it
about them tampering with weapons.
Yeah. And the one's doing chin-ups, and she answers her phone, and she's still doing chin-ups with one hand. And I'm kind of like, The way
she's on top of that guy.
Yeah, exactly. You know.
Yeah.
First, she's really supposed to be that strong, but no. So I mean, I kind of like that moment. I thought that was kind of a funny moment.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't mind Wayne Newton, but I mean, is he a great actor? I mean, look at the movies he's been in. So I mean,
never been a good actor.
Wayne Newton is famous for being Wayne Newton. Isn't he like Mr. Las Vegas or some damn thing?
He kind of really. There's really nothing that.
Was he in Loaded Weapon 1?
I don't know. I already closed that page down.
I love Loaded Weapon 1.
Yeah,
I'm not a big fan of Wayne Newton either. So
yeah,
I mean,
fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, Wayne Newton. Fuck you, Wayne Newton.
I do like Vegas Vacation though, and I know he was in that one.
Yeah. He's in everything Vegas, basically, right? He's basically Mr. Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he tries to be.
He still is, but he was back then.
Yeah. I think Britney Spears might have him outdone now. Anyways, keep going, Steve.
Anyways, yeah. What else? The fighting was kind of. I mean, you could tell those two dudes knew how to fight, unless there were stunt guys in place of them, but it didn't look like it.
No, I mean, the one dude was on Double Dragon. I mean, he definitely had to do some intense fight scenes.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, it has some pluses, I guess, for me. I'm not as hard on it as Chuck. I just wish that they would have. I wish that I wish the acting would have been better. I wish that they would have had the guts to show the ending, and if one of them's dead, show that. If they're both just mangled beyond.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like they're supposed to be pretty women, and now they're ugly as fuck women. So
yeah, that would have been the cool.
I'll ask you guys this: would this episode fly in today's day and age? I don't know. With everything, with all the social commentary stuff that's going on, I don't know.
I mean, it's just two guys making their women fight on TV in a cage. I mean, what would have anybody have a problem with that?
Be looked at as bad towards women now. It's woke or
yeah, right. Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
To be honest though, to be fair, I know a lot of women that would love a chance to beat another bitch's ass in a cage. Just saying.
Well, probably
on TV for all to see. Because that's
pretty cool.
I can't see why this one wouldn't be. I mean, it wasn't that bad. I mean, I think they'd be allowed to make it on TV because it wasn't the guy cheating on the girl; it was the girl doing it. So it's kind of like showing a little bit more feminine power during this episode than it would be like your typical white male thing. So I think they would have been okay remaking it.
Yeah,
I think. Don't get me wrong. If the guy was doing the cheating and they were, like things were just reversed a little bit, then I bet they couldn't make it. But because the way they did it, they could probably remake it again today and it'd still be fine.
I don't know.
Because
and all the social stuff today. I don't know.
Well, I just, there's certain things you can't reverse over, and that's one of them that is more okay. They're not.
It does show like a different kind of take on things because usually it's the guys that are the meatheads, right. And this it's like really the women being like, "Shut up, I got this," and pretty much the whole time. So maybe it would be able to, but I'm sure somebody would have a problem with it.
In your typical Tales from the Crypt format, though, they do make the women out to be cheating, lying whores. Which is definitely a very common theme throughout a lot of
there's a lot
woman roles.
There's a lot of it though, like with men too in the episode. But that, yeah.
If you really go through and break it down with a lot of the Tales from the Crypt episode, it's usually the woman who has caused the issue.
Oh, I'm gonna plead the fifth because there's so much I can say on just from that comment right there, and I'm not gonna do it. But I mean, I don't know. I almost would think that it'd be equal. There's a lot of shitty men characters on throughout the show.
There is, but
but there are a lot of women on here that end up being the judge, which is the person that caused the fucking issue in the first place.
So very true. Very true.
Would love to see more public outrage from Tales episodes, similar to how the comics brought outrage to create burn pits. I mean, yeah, me too. I mean, unfortunately, in the '90s, nobody gave a fuck about anything, so everything was cool to do. But I mean, maybe that would be one of the things that would be cool to just remake some of these with just you know, a similar story, similar outline, and really not change too much, just to see how far we can push some of these boundaries these days.
Yeah.
Anyway, Steve, what would you rate this episode, though?
It's in between a 3 and a 4. We're
Like a
the
3.5?
scale is at a 10, right?
Yeah.
Is that a 10?
We take half points.
3.5. Sure, 3.5. We'll give it a 3.5.
All right.
You know, I kind of like the story. If it was executed better, it'd definitely be higher.
That's I definitely understand. Just going into mine now. I agree with Steve quite a bit. I think the execution is kind of shit. Which is really surprising because we didn't get a chance to really talk about the director too much of this, but the director for this was John Harrison. I'm not sure if that name sounds familiar to you guys at all, but he did the 2000s Dune. He did the Tales from the Dark Side.
Oh shit! Then he should know better than to make something that's shitty.
The TV show and the movie, by the way.
I like them both.
Not only that, but he's also done quite a few episodes of the new Creep show.
So there's no excuse for this episode.
No, there's no excuse for it. The guy, like, something happened to him, and not only did he direct it, but he did the screenplay version of this too. So I mean, there's a lot of blame for this episode on John Harrison.
That son of a bitch.
So like, even though John Harrison's done a couple of good things in the world, he really fucked up Tales from the Crypt.
I
don't think he actually read the comic book. Because I don't know, that or he's just a huge MMA fighter fan, and big UFC guy and really wanted to do something with that. But I mean, realistically, John Harrison's a fucking cocksucker. He could have done so much fucking better. I mean, like, I don't get it. The comic book of this was just so much cooler, and there was so much more that they could have done on screen. And, don't get me wrong, maybe it was outside their budget, especially going into season 6. I know some of these are, like Chuck said, they kind of hit a weird decline. But something happened. So, maybe he tried to get animals, and the producers were like, no, that costs too much money. We're giving you 2 guys, 2 girls, no real big names. You got Wayne Newton, but it's only because we're filming in Vegas and he's required by law to be in everything here. And,
but see, the thing that doesn't make sense, though, is like the Vegas related stuff. You think that Wayne Newton would be able to get some tigers or something?
I mean, you would think so, but I mean,
or Michael Jackson had already had them all. He had all the animals they could use.
Like, I just don't get it. Like, you got a good director here, and he's not only just he's wrote things too. I mean, he wrote the Dune miniseries. If you guys remember that.
Nah.
No. I will say though that when I say he is a cocksucker, I mean it, because he also did some writing for 2 other episodes of Tales from the Crypt.
I thought you were going to
guess what season they're in, Chuck? You want to guess?
7.
Season 7.
Jesus Christ.
So
fuck this dude. Fuck this dude.
So I mean, I think a lot of, like I said, a lot of the blame has to go on John Harrison for this episode. I don't think he was a big EC fan. He did this comic book no justice. I mean, the only thing that he got out of the comic book was, okay, well, by the end of this, I got to have 2 girls fighting. And considering it was the 90s, I'm surprised the motherfucker didn't try to get him in mud or in jello. But I mean,
that is true. Yeah.
Like he didn't do a fucking thing to actually make this good.
That was dull as hell.
The best part about this episode is the beginning. And David said there, he mentioned it too, because the Even though it's not a Christmas episode, it does have a Christmas theme in the Crypt Keeper segments. Which, yes, it does have a Crypt Keeper theme during the segment, which that's fine. But you got to keep in mind. Now, this episode aired November 30th of '94. So, I mean, we're going right into the Christmas season there. So, I mean, it is fitting, David. Now, I will say that beginning song, the Deck the Halls with Parts of Charlie, is great. And if you guys haven't had time to check it out or anything, please check out the Christmas CD that Tales from the Crypt released. It is one of the greatest things ever. I believe I reviewed it on my first Christmas episode that I did.
Oh,
which
nice.
I mean, we.
So do you have it on your shelf?
I don't think I have it on my shelf. Everything else is up there, though. I got quite a bit of stuff that's not on my shelf yet, which I think, I've been going kind of nuts with a lot of my shelf stuff and buying too much shit lately. But
Yeah.
I mean, well, between Tales from the Crypt, Halloween, and The Crow, I mean, I got a lot of dumb stuff. John says it's on mine. Yeah, I am sure it is. I mean, you probably have more shelf space than I do, John. But to be fair, I got things in my closet that you don't got on your shelf.
The skeletons.
No, the skeletons are sitting at the piano in the living room. But I mean, I'll just say it right now because me and John are gonna be talking soon enough. But I got laser discs now, buddy. So new the things you didn't get to see yet. I know you were getting some of the stuff on VHS to collect, but I got some of the laser discs.
Laser discs. Wow.
Hey. I got the Sealed Demon Knight and Bordello.
On laser disc?
Yes.
I mean, that's if you're gonna have laser discs. You have a laser disc player?
I'm working on it. I'll get one soon enough.
I like that.
Spoken like a true collector.
He goes, ooh, Laserdisc. $10 says right now he's sitting there hitting, eBay.com trying to find that. He's gonna be like, I'm gonna outdo this motherfucker. The only way you're gonna outdo me is if you buy that entire Japanese collection that's up there. And if you do, I want to borrow them. Anyways. As far as this episode, though, I'm gonna give it probably about a 4.5. I mean, it's not that great. There's Wayne Newton. John Harrison's a piece of shit. I really wish that. I just wish they could have followed the comic book so much more. There was a lot of potential here to make something good, but instead of making something good, they gave the directing and writing to John Harrison, which which is basically the equivalent of being like, hey, let's remake The Wicker Man and let's have it star Nicolas Cage.
Oh, God.
So,
that's so bad. So
right?
bad.
They might as well have had Blumhouse fucking do it. But it's it's bad. It really is. I mean, there was just so much potential to do something better.
Be careful. You're going to give Jason Blum an idea if you happen to ever cross this episode.
Oh, my God. He's going to be like, you know what?
And it'd be your
I'm
fault.
going to buy the rights to Tales from the Crypt.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You want to ruin my entire life. I mean, well,
wow.
I mean, I don't know. It's there was a lot that they could have done, though. There really was. The whole episode for this, the comic book, if anybody has a chance to check it out, Vault of Horror issue number 40. I'm telling you, it's a good one. If you don't have it and you still want to read it, I have no problem showing you the comic book either. I'll send you pictures of something from my collection and let you check it out. But it's a good story. It really is. It's different. A little bit more on the gruesome side. Obviously you don't see everything through a comic book the way you do on television, but it definitely has the ability to strike a nerve a lot more than this episode does. The only nerves that this one strikes on the episode is it just pisses you off that John Harrison's a cocksucker and did this.
And if you want my private collection, well, you can just send me money, and it's not comic books.
What is it? What are you selling,
I think
Chuck?
I know.
What are you selling?
I
No,
know.
Just being
tell her.
dumb. Just being stupid. God, you ruin the humor when you like fucking do that.
Oh well, whatever.
God, that's about as bad as this fucking episode of Tales from the Crypt.
Well, I mean, almost. I mean,
Fuck this episode. Back to that.
fair enough. But anyways, I mean, that basically covers our thoughts on this one. I will say though, as a good thing to this episode and something for everybody to check out is the Tales from the Crypt Christmas CD. I strongly recommend checking that out. I mean, it's at the very least fucking hilarious to actually go through and hear some of these redone Christmas songs done.
Is it a full album or is it like an EP?
It's a full fucking CD, dude.
That's awesome. That
Dude, yeah.
I want to hear. I want to hear this shit.
I'm surprised you don't know this.
Me too. This is the more
Really?
you know.
I'm kind of confused. I legitimately thought you would have known about.
Unless
this
I knew it one time and just my burned brain just fucking forgot about it. But yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. Like,
well,
yeah.
It's called "Have Yourself a Scary Little Christmas." So I mean, it is a really good CD. The songs on here, you got the intro, you got "Deck the Halls with Parts of Charlie," "Juggle Bills," "We Wish You'd Bury the Misses." No.
I like that a lot.
Great.
That's a great title.
Right.
That's a great title.
Yeah. The entire album is on YouTube.
I'm gonna check it out.
There's some pretty good songs on there though. I'm gonna have to say one of my personal favorites. I mean, God, they have so many good ones on here. Man, there's the Revenge of the Crypt Keeper. Oh. Should Old Cadavers Be Forgotten? There's the Crypt Keeper Family Christmas. There's the Christmas rap. I know Chuck is a huge rap fan. He would love that one. 'Twas the Fright Before Christmas is another good one too. But
yeah, I'm gonna have to. I always try to find the most ridiculous shit to listen to around
this
Christmas.
isn't ridiculous.
No, but I mean like not
this
the
is
typical
highbrow
Christmas shit.
fucking shit, Chuck.
Right? Yeah. But what I'm saying is, I don't listen to like Deck the Halls. I don't listen like the biggest thing I listen to on Christmas is like ICP's Christmas album. Okay, so which hey, come on, Red Christmas, Santa's a Fat Bitch. You can't get more classic than that.
Yes, you can.
There you go.
That's great. But now I'll have this and that to listen to. That's great. That makes me happy. And my kid goes to his mom's on Christmas, so I'll just get drunk and listen to these fucking shit. That's great. It makes me happy.
I'm telling you right now, the Tales from the Crypt Christmas CD is a million times better than what ICP did. So
I'm gonna have to disagree. That's my
you haven't
childhood,
listened
man.
to it yet.
Never
You're
even heard it
disagreeing
yet.
without even knowing.
I already know.
You already know?
Come on, man.
Sometimes I wonder how we're friends.
There is that question sometimes.
It's like, for those who don't know, Chuck Nasty is what you call a juggalo.
I'm not a juggalo. I'm just a fan of the ICP.
And Fago and face paint.
I don't wear face paint anymore, but it was never juggalo stuff.
Anymore?
I do like Fago, though. I mean, yeah, I used to like, Halloween shit, high school stupidity.
I don't know. For somebody who grew up in the area where Fago's made, it is cheap shit soda.
I mean, yeah, it's cheap shit soda, but I mean, it's what like we all grew up on. Like, and so like when ICP was like, here's this fucking group, it's like horror rap fucking clowns. I'm like, all right. Oh, and they drink Fago, and it's a big deal. All right, that's cool. I went to one show. I've been to one ICP related shows with Dark Lotus was on tour the first time, and I don't like being sticky with fucking soda. That's my biggest.
It's from another man from the clown.
No, I don't like it then either. I had to say when I went down because it was in Cincinnati at Bogart's and before they cleaned the place up, it was like a real fucking shit fest. If you went to the fucking bathrooms, you didn't know who or what you were going to walk in on. And I was covered in fucking Fago and shit, and I went to go clean off in the bathroom, and I think it was either Crazy Bone or Lazy Bone from Bone Thugs was there because he opened up the show. He was in the bathroom selling his fucking CDs, and I think trying to score crack or something. I don't know. It was a weird situation. I'm not a juggalo, but I enjoy icing stuff.
That is where you score it.
Yeah.
Anyways, getting this moving along.
Sorry, random.
Steve, dude, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
remember,
thank you guys
everybody,
so much
please.
for having me, man.
Oh, dude, anytime. And remember, everybody, please check out what he has going on over at his Indiegogo. How much longer do you have on that right now? Do you happen to know offhand?
I don't, because I can shut it down anytime I want. So because it's in demand. So, but you know, if we raise a fair amount in the next few weeks, we'll take it down before the movie releases. Just make sure you go see the movie when it releases on October 21st.
Right. And where's everybody going to be able to check that out at?
YouTube. It will drop on YouTube, and looking at a couple of other little places to release it, but YouTube will probably be the big one.
Right. Well, I think you're kind of limited, aren't you, with it being a fan film?
With making money, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, as far as what platforms that will take it.
Yeah, it depends on which ones will do it for free and which ones, won't. If some have to make money off of them, then unfortunately we can't do that. But there are some.
Can't wait to see the Sawyer Man.
I'm super psyched to see this fucking movie. Dude.
Oh yeah,
I really am.
Me too.
I'm gonna make it a thing. I'm gonna mark it in my calendar.
I'll say this about the film. Just one little thing about the film, just because some people might be in it for all the blood and guts and gore and stuff like that. I'm not saying there's none, but I'm much more geared towards the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre that didn't have a ton of blood and guts.
Right.
So even though there's some, it's definitely not as gory as some people might think it's going to be. It is more of a character-focused story. So just be ready for that. But we've shot it in Texas, folks. We actually shot the movie in Texas. 100% in Texas. No extra scenes filmed in Canada or Louisiana or Alabama or anything like that. All Texas. Every frame you see is 100% Texas.
100% Texas beef.
Yes.
Nice. Well,
that's the way
can't wait to check that out. And John says, that is what I like to hear. So,
good stuff.
Yeah. So that's awesome, man. So thanks, everybody, for checking this out. Everyone, please check out what he has going on over there. Obviously, all that information is also going to be in the show notes, as well as links to that YouTube channel. So please check out everything Steve has going on. The dude is kicking ass. Especially if you're a fucking Texas Chainsaw fan, you're gonna love what this guy's doing. I mean, you could tell by the title that you're gonna give this justice. Most people that are a Texas Chainsaw fan, especially with like doing a fan film, it's gonna have Texas Chainsaw in the name or Leatherface into the name. But you went, definitely more authentic with it, which is pretty fucking cool. And I'm really excited to see what you have going on with it. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, man. Uber respect on that.
Well,
oh, yeah.
I hope you guys enjoy it. It won't be for everybody. It won't be for everybody.
Not everything is. Not everything is.
Not everybody wants to meet good characters. They just want to see the characters get killed.
Well, I mean,
I like to see the characters that I get to know the character a little bit, whatever, and then if they kill or get killed, it's even a bonus,
There you go. Well, you might get that with this.
I actually liked the Netflix Chainsaw Massacre. I thought it was good. I don't know what the problem is.
That you watch if you want people to get killed, though.
Yeah.
It really is the opposite of what I did.
I don't know why everybody has such an issue with it.
Just
I don't know.
Just kill them all.
Just kill them. It was kill them all, man. It was bring Leatherface back, kill them all.
That movie was, and you know what? It executed that well. Do I like the movie? Not really, but I just don't go to see horror movies to see nothing but slaughter. I want to see a good story. I want to, but at the end of the day, though, I watched that movie and I had fun with it.
Yeah,
which
exactly.
Which was not something I could say for Texas Chainsaw 3D. that was a bad movie with bad characters, and I did not have fun with it. Like
For some reason, that movie didn't make a lick of goddamn sense. But for some reason, I love that movie. I don't know why.
Well,
It's not my favorite.
I tried,
but it's.
Well, I
tried
mean,
to like it.
Chuck's
Oh,
one
I
of
get
those
it.
people where you really realize that, like, especially if it's a really bad movie and Chuck's like, "Oh, I love that one." It's like that motherfucker got super high before he watched it, and he hasn't watched it a second time.
Oh, I've watched that movie a lot. No, I like that. I think
really?
that if they took out certain aspects of it, I think it probably would have been better because there's a lot in it that does not make sense. The age of the girl, I don't understand how she's only 18 or whatever from 19, whatever the fuck it was. Like, doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah, there's things about the movie that doesn't make sense, but it's like I'm also a Jason Goes to Hell fan, and I always have to fight that one too. Like, I like shit that's fucking for me.
Like Jason Goes to Hell. I can't argue that one.
Well, good, but like with the Netflix one though, it was like just kind of like it was the return of the brutality, and I also was really sucked into the scene where all those nice little social justice warriors got fucking taken out and that fucking like that bus. That was an amazing scene. I don't understand why people have such a problem with it. I mean, it is a fucking chop them up, chainsaw them.
Social justice bullshit. Even being in that movie is.
But that was the point, though. They weren't being that way. They were getting rid of it. They were destroying
just the
issue.
fact that you had to put it in a movie just speaks a lot for it. Just.
But horror movies are a release, and maybe for the director, they were fucking tired of hearing about the shit too, so they had to kill it some way. Yeah, sometimes you have to kill it. You know, does it make sense? Does that make sense a little bit? You know. But then again. But when it comes to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, it is my favorite movie of all time, not just my favorite horror movie. And the franchise, I like anything that has to do with it, but the only one that I really did not like was the second one they called Leatherface. So all the other ones I enjoyed.
Second one they called Leatherface, so the one from 2017.
Right, yeah. I didn't really care.
Yeah, I hated that one too. Yeah. But I didn't quite hate it. I didn't hate it quite as much as Texas Chainsaw 3D.
And I understand completely your hate for that one. I totally get it. Totally get it on that one. I don't know why I like it. That's the thing. I've watched that movie so much, I still question, like, why do I like this movie? But it's just fun.
Well, what's funny it's about Leatherface, what's funny about Leatherface 2017 is I say I like these character-driven stories. That was a character-driven story. I just think it was a totally wrong freaking character story for Leatherface.
Yes.
It was like the origins of Leatherface, and you basically gave him a Michael Corleone complex when you look
also
at
had
the actual story arc that Leatherface had.
Yeah.
He had a lot of issues in that movie. I don't know.
I could be wrong about it, but like I almost think that, and like I said, I could be wrong, but I almost think that I read somewhere that the 2017 Leatherface was originally not. It wasn't originally supposed to be a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. They just turned it into that. It was a different script.
I could see that.
Yeah, but it was just
right. I mean, but again, I'll say this again. It's basically the same story arc as Michael Corleone. You put the two together, it's the same story arc as Michael Corleone from The Godfather. So why would you copy that? You know, guy, he's an innocent kid, hates what his family's doing, just like Michael Corleone, but eventually he becomes that family, right? He becomes the Godfather.
Holy shit.
It's really the same arc, except when you look at the Godfather, it was a natural transition, whereas Leatherface, it's just all of a sudden he's Leatherface. It was so jarring the way they did that in that movie.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I can't defend that movie, man.
That's a great comparison. I would have never even thought about that. But that's a good comparison.
I feel like I'm the only one that ever has thought of that one, but I mean I see the exact same story arc. Yeah, character arc.
No, I totally agree. Yeah.
Look at it. Look at it. It's the same. Hates what his family, and he says it early on in the movie. Oh, I have no family. Like he hates his family. I got nowhere to go, and then by the end, though, all of a sudden he loves his family and he becomes the evil that he wasn't at the beginning of the film.
Yeah,
but it's so unnatural. I mean, it took almost a 3-hour movie for The Godfather to tell that story, and it's seamless.
Yeah,
Nothing felt jarring about Michael Corleone, but this, I mean, they tried to tell that story in an hour and a half, I guess, and that's where you can't tell a story like that in an hour and a half. You just
and they led you to believe that Leatherface was someone else, and then the way they changed him into Leatherface was just kind of
such an obvious twist, though. I mean, that was too obvious to me.
Yeah, no, it really was.
The '86 Texas Chainsaw is John's favorite.
Oh, really?
He says the original is his second, and his Massacre 2003 came in third.
I love that remake. I think it was good.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. I thought it was very good because I mean it was when the whole remake thing was really kind of blowing up, and I went into it really like not sure how I felt about it, and I left there really enjoying it. And I think out of a lot of the remakes that came out, that is probably numero uno in my book.
I really like the '86 one too. I'll throw that out there. I had a lot of fun with that. But
what talking about 2?
Yeah,
I love 2. Like 1, 2, and 3. Those are my those are my top 3 favorites right there. Like I think they're great. They're fucking they're wonderful.
They're fun. They're fun. That's like about the best you can say about them. They're fun.
I mean, hell, fucking part 3, Leatherface actually almost plays out like a Tales from the Crypt episode.
Like I said, they're fun.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah, it's hard to. I don't know. I almost get like, especially with the first 3 movies, I get like a almost like a Freddy vibe, where they start off real serious, and it turned more comedy.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Like even like Leprechaun. The first Leprechaun is kind of fucking spooky in a way when you really sit down and watch it. But
yeah.
You know that he's in the hood, he's in space, so you know it's like
after what
stretch.
I think the biggest issue when it comes down to being like they got kind of funny was how they perceived the family or how they perceived Leatherface a lot of ways too. You know, like it did get more like that, like you said, like the Freddy thing, where as it went on, it was just like, oh okay, ha ha ha. You know, but again, it also goes back to why I like the remake, because the remake was pretty dark.
And it was a lot darker.
Yeah. Brought it back.
I don't know. I mean, if I want to watch a serious Texas Chainsaw movie, though, I'm always going to go back to the original myself. So, no. But anyways, I want to thank you so much, Steve. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Check out what he has going on. Check out his Indiegogo. Check out what Chuck has going on with his band, Bastard Sons of a Judas Goat. Check out my band, the Legitimate Sons of a Jesus Pig. We do all sorts of sexy stuff. Oh, thank you. I mean, for some reason, Chuck thought it'd be hilarious to start mocking our band, but whatever. Okay, fine. I made my whole
squeeze me baking powder,
Chuck. And remember, guys, check out our comic book. You can touch it, you can rub it, you can lick it, you can fuck it. I don't care. Yeah, see, I mean, all sorts of
Sunday, right? Oh, Sunday is no day to be watching looking at dirty magazines. I'll say that much.
It's fine.
I don't know. The wife might.
So you hide it in the bathroom. So with that being said, though, thank you all so much. Thank you once again, Steve. You're fucking awesome.
Thanks, guys.
And you know. John says paper cuts on the dick. I mean, to be fair, John bought a copy of each. If anybody's going to know, it will be John. I love you, buddy. I'm sure I'm going to hear about that one in a little bit. But thank you all. And with that being said, the crypt is closed.
Thanks for listening, kiddies. You're all a scream.